What was something that you saw at work that was so beep up, you quit?
A job at an as advertised on TV place. They were heavily advertising electric female leg hair removers, and had a batch of faulty leg hair removers that they were still sending out to customers despite knowing they were faulty. Almost all of the leg hair removers were being returned, and my job was to clean and repackage the used faulty machines so that they looked unopened and could be sent out to new customers. I quit the job by lunchtime on my first day.
I reported a faulty safety lock on a hydraulic ramp to my boss, and instead of taking the issue seriously, he decided to berate me in front of the other workers, claiming the ramp was safe. He started shoving it to prove that I was wrong, and one of my coworker joined in. The lock then let go, causing the ramp to shoot out suddenly, pinning the coworker to a wall. Luckily, one of the draw chains got caught so the ramp didn't pierce the guy's chest. I was basically done with that job after that.
Was working in a restaurant that had some construction going on for the ceiling. Construction team were using a large hydraulic lift to get to the work area. The hydraulic arm failed and fell onto a construction worker, crushing him instantly. One of the team that witnessed this was a 19-year-old expat from the Balkans. He was seriously shaken up, couldn't talk for hours and pale as a ghost. I went to his apartment and poured us each a drink, sat in silence with him till he eventually opened up about it. He cried, he got angry, he worked through it over about 5 hours or so till he was in at least somewhat a better place. We went outside for a smoke, he even had a laugh at some point. Then the managers called all the witnesses in, gave them McDonald's and told them threateningly not to talk about this or put it on social media. He was right back to being pale and shaken. I handed in my resignation the next day.
The billionaire CEO of a company dressing down a staff member in front of 500 plus people, invoking the name of his mother during said rant and pushing full-on lies about this person. The CEO had literally called an all-hands meeting simply to publicly disgrace this employee. Only for doing his job as it was written in his contract, that I later pulled for reference as I had admin access at the time. Yeah, bye.
CW. Sexual violence, ideation US Army. Mid-20s. A lieutenant the next unit over is being administratively disciplined for raping 3 of his soldiers. His 3 victims, all male, are discharged under the don't ask don't tell policy while the lieutenant is demoted from 02 to 01. He stays with the unit. It's dealt with as fraternization. Same duty station. A friend of mine in my unit is raped by another member of our unit. It goes through JAG and he's acquitted. She is moved to another unit to keep the peace in our unit. He stays. A few months later, my squad leader rapes me. A couple years later, I'm deployed, thinking of how much I want to die. I'm going on as many patrols outside the wire as I can, hoping for a folded flag. SGLI could probably help my family out a lot. After rotating back stateside, marching into the auditorium, I realized that I didn't have anybody waiting for me to return. I was lonely in the most brutal of ways. It was this epiphany that not only had I pushed everyone away, but also it was a trade-off for a military that didn't care about me. We had 2 weeks off after returning from deployment. I drank myself stupid, penned a letter, and initiated my own don't ask don't tell discharge. Now I live for me.
At my first job, I worked fast food from age 16 to 18. They hired this 29-year-old man that was really huge, like towered over all of us. Almost all the employees were women, many underage. He would hit on all of us, grab the boobs of a few of us including me. Don't remember if I was underage at the time or not. Another day he came to work very obviously high and sliced his hand open on a meat slicer. That was supposed to be an immediate firing, but they let it slide and we were all told to just not talk about it again. This dude started pestering me for sex, which I declined. One day he came up to me, all the other employees were chatting in the back kitchen, and I was at the front counter alone, no customers. This dude came up to me and bashed me in the top of my head with his elbow after I declined sex again. I got a concussion from it and complained to a manager that I didn't feel safe there anymore. The general manager pulled me into the office the next day and screamed in my face how I was a liar, just wanted everyone fired, nothing happened, never talk about it again. Until I was bawling my eyes out. None of my co-workers even stood up for me. I quit the next day. Never going to work for a place that doesn't care about my safety. And it was one of the best choices I made, cause my very next job opened a ton of doors for me and got me where I am now.
Quit Radio Shack because of how hard they pushed me to sell warranties to people who didn't need them. Think like an 80-year-old woman buying a pack of double A rechargeable batteries and me getting in trouble for not trying to sell her a warranty on the batteries.
I used to work at KFC. To make chicken pot pies we usually used the old, dry chicken that had been sitting in the warmers too long at the end of night. The chicken would be deboned and it would be refrigerated overnight, and used in the next morning's batch of pies. One night, the person closing drive-thru ended up throwing away most of the old chicken rather than deboning it for pot pies. The trash they threw it away in was filled with all sorts of food, raw chicken blood, etc. Next thing you know, the GM is taking the chicken out of this trash and deboning the chicken like it was fine. He tried to tell us to do it so he could finish his manager's stuff, but literally everyone refused. I didn't quit then, but damn sure did not eat pot pies from there ever again. It was brought to his superior's attention, to which he was just given a write-up for it. Months later, he was fired for other reasons. Meep KFC.
I worked at McDonald's when I was 16. One night there was a shooting in the store and the manager locked everyone in the walk-in. I quit as soon as we got out.
I was 16 and hired after 3 interviews to do door-to-door sales. It did not pay unless you hit a quota that sounded insane. I quit in 5 minutes. I hope everyone else got smart and ran away, but no one else walked out.
I worked at a fast food restaurant, and a customer had a heart attack. The paramedics pronounced him dead when they got there. They just made all of us keep working like nothing happened. I was 17 at this point, and I'd never seen another person die. I finished my shift, went home, and cried the rest of the night. I gave my 2 weeks notice the next day.
Used to work for the market-leading telco in Australia. Outbound warm calling sales, cross-sell and upsell to people who already had an account. We had a project where fully 60 to 70% of the people we called were 80 plus and mostly senile. We were expected to push products on them. Many were in nursing homes, some didn't know what a mobile phone was. This was 2006 or 7. To cover my ass from the bad sales numbers, I'd leave notes to the effect of called on outbound campaign X did not believe customer capable of giving informed consent over the phone to this offer under unconscionable sales conduct provisions of Trade Practices Act. Someone had prepared that list for us to call.
My boss was a functioning alcoholic, but then started a sexual relationship with an employee, publicly, in the office. Full-blown exhibitionism. Nope, I'm out.
I had a full amount of vacation and sick. Never missed a day. My dog suddenly passed. I wanted to leave to deal with it. My boss said no, and you can get another one of those for $25 at the pound, so no. I quit on the spot and left.
Boss said all black people should go on a slow boat back to Africa because he hates them over a lunch meeting to discuss giving me more work.
My oldest sister, the babysitter, the dad came home wasted, stripped naked, and tried to have sex with my sister. She called the cops and he got arrested for attempting to have sex with a minor. She was 16 at the time.
Didn't quit because of this, ended up getting a better job. Worked security at a California winery. Saw how they did their grape crushing was a disgusting process. They would just dump all the crap from the grape field and grind everything together. Saw rats and snakes scurrying out the grinder during the process.
When I first started out as an apprentice steel fabricator, I was working at a small shop. I needed a second pair of hands for a minute. Boss was right there, so I asked him for help. He turns to me and says, "I'm not your $N and at Quit on the spot. Beep him and beep racism."
Saw people actually working hard. WTF, ain't needing that. Bounced.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.